You are tuning into the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network, kayak fishing's best network of shows with great hosts covering all things kayak fishing, bringing you special guests covering topics such as shore fishing, river trips, gear reviews, angler profiles, tournament news, and more. Sit back, relax, let's do this.
Welcome to the Rusty Hook Podcast. Raw and unfiltered kayak fishing content, streaming on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and X. Bringing you gear reviews and candid interviews from the industry's best, angler profiles, tournament news, plus legendary knowledge from kayak fishing's OGs and rising stars. So, grab that cold drink, pull up a chair, and get settled in. Now here's John Rapp.
Okay, now we should have our audio situation fixed there. So, this is the Rusty Hook Podcast. Veteran Salute, I'm John Rapp. Thanks, Matt Gibson, for the shout out there. When I was getting everything ready here, I forgot to switch from these audio to this audio. So, we're ready to rock and roll now. So, anyway, guys, this is the Rusty Hook Podcast Video Salute Show. I've got several slides together for you here. Did not get with all the groups that I wanted to talk with, the Air Force guys, Navy, but let's kick off this new salute with my good friends who just celebrated a birthday yesterday, the Marines. A few of you guys have reached out in the past. Let's go ahead and show that. Appreciate you guys. I moved the wrong one. Take that one off. Try to get this set up. I got a bunch of videos here to play. So, special episode. Veterans. Now I'm a veteran, and you know, several of these guys, Marines and veterans. In the past, we've had veterans on the show talking about experiences. You know, I spent 14 years affiliated to the United States Army. I did 8 years on active duty. I did 7 my first go around as a young kid, and then I went back and jumped back in with the National Guard and did a year overseas in Iraq with those boys. So it was it was a great experience. You know, being in the military has really set my life up from day one. One of the great things about that happened with me in my using my military experience was that I was able to retire from my job using some of my military time. So, getting ready to turn 60 here next week, but I've been officially retired from my first job for over 12 years. I retired it right before I turned 48. But hey, Matt Gibson, again, appreciate you. We've got a YouTube visitor from Joe Bellows. Whoever Ostop Bender is wants to crash the party with a why that matters in this thing. This is a veteran salute, not a Trump bashing event. But anyway, I appreciate veterans. I was hoping to have some guys on here to talk about their veterans time, you know, their time in the military. And I've shared over the past several stories, and I'm going to go ahead and do it again. But if you have some great stories, share them. I would love to hear about them in the future, or talk about them here. But I can remember those days when, you know, when you go to reception and you get there and you're meeting up with the guys, and everybody's, you know, like, you know, what the hell do we get into here? And, you know, you can feel the apprehension and tension, and you know, you do things to try to release that tension. So when I get off the bus and I arrive at Fort Knox, Kentucky to go to basic, Olin Jr. from YouTube's turned 62 in June. Marine Corps from 83 to 87. Army from 84 to 90. God bless you, brother. Happy Veterans Day. Yeah, so when I got off the bus, now, Olin, I'd love to hear from stories about your time at the camp, at Marine training. But, man, I'm only 5'7". I'm 135 pounds soaking wet, little dude from West Virginia. And I look around me, and one of the guys, he's from New York, black as ace of spades, 6'7", probably 275. Big man, a really, really big man. I look over beside me, there's a big guy, and he's from New Jersey. Dark hair, dark skin. He must have been Italian or something. He's probably 6'5", 275. These guys look like your typical NFL linebackers, you know, big dudes. And you got this little dude, country boy from West Virginia, standing in the middle of them, and I'm like, oh hell, this isn't gonna be good, you know. I gotta do something to make these guys like me, or think I'm crazy or something. And we're all standing around, and I look down on the ground. There's a katydid right down there, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. I think I've done it before. I reach down and I pick up that katydid, and I look at everybody and I said, hey, how much y'all boys give me if I eat this? So, a few minutes after that, one of the guys has a hat, and there's probably 60 to 80 bucks in that hat. And they're laying out money about me eating that katydid. So, I'm like, well, it's too late now. I've committed myself. I grab that thing, I shove it in my mouth, and I start chewing on it. And I know I'm turning green, but I'm chewing on it, it's crunching. And out of nowhere, 2 or 3 drill sergeants come in, and they're looking at us, and they're like, oh, what we got going on here? Oh, look at this. And they're looking at, what's your name? And I'm like, chewing on it, Rapp. And oh, you, look at this guy. He's special. He wants to be a ranger, living off the land. Send him in the woods. So they're writing down all our names, and we're all dropping down. And I swallowed it, but I was green and I was about to throw up. We beat our face. Those guys, they zip away, and they wrote down all our names, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I said, I didn't expect all that. And that big old boy from New York slapped me on the back and says, "Rapp, you're crazier than hell. I like you." And I'm like, well, that worked out as planned. So, I made a couple buddies there. We got introduced to the ground. I'm pretty sure we did push-ups. If not, we just at that time, when they put you on the ground, they'd leave you on the ground, make you hold yourself there for 5 or 10 minutes, and then get up. But anyway, that's one of my stories. So, we all have our stories from our military time at basic training and AIT, and I got another one to share for you. But before I do that, let's do a salute to our Navy boys. Thank you for your service, men. United States Navy. Appreciate you boys protecting them freighters as they're bringing our supplies across the water. The funny thing is when I went to Iraq, we went to Camp Doha, Cap Arafan, and ended up at Camp Virginia. And we're sitting there, and we're getting our daily briefs and doing all our things. We're waiting for our mission, and it's day 25 or 30. There's guys that have come, they parked for a week or two, and then they've left, and they've moved. And we're sitting there, and we're waiting for our mission. And come to find out that the ship that has our Connex boxes on it is taking on water, and it is not moving as fast as it's supposed to. So we had to wait an extra week or two for our Connex boxes to arrive, and then we moved up to Mosul and began our mission in mid-May, right after the end of the ground war, and then it was more of the occupation and setting up shop to retrain the Iraqis. But so that's one of the things we did up there. But go back to some other stories that I've shared on my past tributes. I'm 135 pounds, 140 pounds, and when I was at basic, I had just wrapped up my baseball season of my senior year of high school. So I was in really, really good shape. When I got there, I could run a 2-mile time in less than 13 minutes. And by the time that after about 5 weeks of training, 4 or 5 weeks of training, I had that time down close to low 13s. It was almost a 6.5 minute mile, if I remember correctly. So, one of our, when you have your platoons, you got your drill sergeants. Most of those guys are E5s, and you have a head drill for your group, who's a 6. Then you'll have like the drill that runs those guys. He's a 7, and then you have your head drill sergeant for the whole platoon, the 4 companies or whoever's involved in that. And he was a West Virginia guy from Morgantown. So he's an E8, And he calls me to his office, and I'm thinking, oh man, why am I being called to this guy's office? I don't know who he is. He's a big dog, and my E5 drill sergeant, he's a young Puerto Rican guy. He was a beast. Have you seen those commercials where that guy on Facebook, he's got the big arms, he's talking about doing that Tai Chi stuff, he's Korean or Asian or Japanese or something. But that's what this drill sergeant looked like. He had arms like that around him. Probably weighed $175 and 30, 40 pounds of it when was in each arm. So he was a beast, impressive specimen of a man. And my drill sergeant, head drill sergeant, calls me in. He's like, "Hey, Rapp, you're a pretty athletic boy. I'm all scared to death." He's like, sit down, relax." And I sit down in his chair, and he's like, "You're from West Virginia?" I'm like, "Yes, sir." "Where are you from?" I told him where I was from. He said, "Well, I'm up from Morgantown." He said, "Heck, I'm getting ready to retire. I'm getting ready to go home." He said, "I've been here for, I think he said 25, 28 years. And he was hanging up the belt, getting ready to leave. He's like, "Rapp, I want you to do something for me. You know who your drill sergeant Gutierrez is?" I'm like, "Yes, drill sergeant." He says, "Do you think you can beat him in the PT test? You can outrun him?" And I'm like, "Well, I can try." Drill sergeant, he's like, "If you outrun him, then I will. All your extra duties, you'll come to my office and you'll shine my boots." I'm like, "Yes, drill sergeant, I'll do my very best." And he says, "I'm counting on you. West Virginia pride's on the line here." And I'm like, so when he threw that up, I'm like, "Oh hell, I gotta do my best." Well, I mean, the drill sergeant, I was one of the top runners. For being a little guy, I could hold my own. And we had our next PT test coming up for our 6-week evaluation. And I went, like I said here previously, I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky. And if you guys ever watched the video back in 81 or 82 with Bill Murray, Stripes, well, that's exactly where I was at. Where they did all their marching on that parade field is exactly where we did our exercises, and we ran around that parade field for our PT test. The parade field perimeter was exactly 1 mile, so you had to run it twice, 2 laps. And to make a long story short, we had our PT test, and Drill Sergeant Gutierrez always ran the PT test with us, and would talk about he'd smoke everybody, and he did. I mean, the man was a specimen. But so what I did on that time, he was in the group that I was running with. I paced him. I got behind him and I ran with him almost that full first lap. And I'm like, okay. So as soon as we ran that first lap and we started that second lap, I'm like, well, it's all for nothing now. I'm going for it now. I'm going to run it. And I burst around him, and I ran pretty much as hard as I could all the way through the end of that 2 miles. I probably got 20 or 30 paces ahead of him. I could hear him back here huffing and running, and he was trying to catch me as hard as he could. But I had already got far enough ahead of him to where I was able to beat him. I probably beat him by 6-8 seconds. It was a good 6-8 paces ahead of him, and at the end, and so I got called back to the drill sergeant's office, and for the next week and a half before graduation, because we graduated at our 8 weeks, he had me come in, and I spit shine his shoes, and he would talk about his childhood in West Virginia while I was shining his shoes, and I was always nervous. I was always waiting for him to become the big bad mean E8 drill sergeant, but nah, he was cool and ended up being a good experience for me. So had a good time there with that. But that was a couple of my Army stories. I hope you guys will share one or two when you get the opportunity to see this. And without further ado, I think I'm going to go ahead and do my salute to the biggest group here on this salute, which is a bunch of Army vets. So to my Army brothers, God bless you, thank you, and to all you veterans out there, I wish you nothing but the best. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
This is the Rusty Hook Podcast, supporting people and companies that support us. Feel free kayaks, paddle, pedal, or power, something for everyone. Dubro Fishing, manufacturer of fishing and marine products for freshwater and saltwater anglers. Big Lake Bait Company, Texas's #1 custom soft plastics bait maker. And Ace Adventure Resort, West Virginia's #1 go-to outdoor destination with whitewater, zip lining. You're tuned in to the Rusty Hook Podcast. More than a podcast, but a way of life. From the biggest lakes to the smallest creeks, we are all things kayak fishing. Refresh that drink, turn up the volume, and feel the excitement. It's time for the second half of the show. Live, raw, and unfiltered. Now, let's join the one and only Big Daddy.
All right, Big Daddy back in house. Thank you for guys for hanging out with me for the first half of the Salute, Veterans Salute, my 5th edition, 5th year doing this podcast. You know, thought maybe I would briefly touch on this right here, but 22 veterans a day commit suicide. And I just want to put it out right to all of you men and ladies out there, veteran or non-veteran, if you are having thoughts like that, I am always available to talk to. Always. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me and talk to me. If you have something that you want to get off your chest, problems, issues, anything, I'm here for you. Don't hesitate to reach out. So what I want to do now is I did interview a couple ladies earlier in the week regarding what they do for the veteran community. What's really cool about this interview is one of the ladies is actually the mother of LJ Ashcraft, and the West Virginia kayak fishing community is well known to LJ. LJ has been a kayak angler for the last 10, 12 years. He and I and a couple other men 10 years ago tore up the Mountain State, Virginia, Pennsylvania, traveling and fishing. At that time, LJ was probably 22, 23, just out of school, just making a living at as a coal miner, and we traveled around when him and Brandon Walmsley were off, and we fished about everywhere where you could think of. But I never ever met his parents because, we were out fishing. So, but one of the cool things, when LJ got married and I was invited to the wedding, that's when I got to meet his parents about 6-7 years ago. So, come full circle, I'm eating lunch at Shoney's, or breakfast at Shoney's, and I'm talking to the waitress there, and we're talking about Veterans Day coming up, and she told me about this group. They make quilts here locally, and they make like USA type quilts. I'm like, oh yeah, and she told me who it was, and I'm like, well, I'm going to reach out to Linda and see if she'll do it. Let me interview her. Well, I ended up interviewing her and Janet Workman, both local women here in Nicholas County area, and had a real good little interview, and we talked about what they do for the veteran community. So I'm going to play that video now, and then when it's done, we'll wrap up the show right after that. So here we go. Before with some of the other folks, some of the recent, hey Buddy Key, I got my Buddy Key come down to see me. He's like, hey, I want to go back outside. Just came in, wants to go right back out. But anyway, just talked about some stuff with some people about their military experiences. Now, my special treat is I got a couple ladies in the background here who I'm going to bring on, and I want to talk about some of the really cool things that they have done for the veteran community. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Miss Janet Workman and Miss Linda Ashcraft. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you. Hello.
Now, as you can tell, these ladies are not used to being probed and talked to and questioned, and so I'm gonna have to really work hard here to get Janet to smile and Linda to talk.
Yeah, right.
Hey, appreciate you coming on the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. Hey, I've been fishing kayak fishing now for a little over 11, 12 years, and what's really funny is how I met Linda is her baby boy and I tore up the Mountain State back years ago, fishing 2-3 times a week, all over the state and Pennsylvania, Virginia. She's probably heard my name lots back in the day and like, who is this guy? And then finds out I'm old enough to be LJ's daddy, but LJ Ashcraft, I love that boy, and you created a great young man there miss him, and his buddy Brandon Walmsley. We really traveled a lot, but finally got to meet you at his wedding.
Yeah.
Beautiful wedding.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, so Linda, Janet, tell me a little bit about yourselves. Janet, won't you start and tell us a little bit about you and just a little bit of your life history?
Well, I'm originally from Clay County, and I'm a physician assistant, retired. I've been quilting all my life, ever since my grandmother put a needle in my hand to shut me up. So, uh, so I have always been quilting. So when I retired, I joined Mountain Lake Quilters and met Linda.
Beautiful. So, you lifelong resident of Clay County, or are you, I know you're not.
I'm in. I've lived in Fayette County for 28 years, and then 12 years ago I moved to Nicholas County.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, Linda, tell us a little bit about you.
I am really haven't quilted all my life, maybe the past 20 years, and found the group Mountain Lake Quilters. And back a long time ago, we did make quilts of valor, and one of the ladies was a retired, I believe, colonel, but I'm not sure. She was in the National Guard, and she got it started. And
What was the name of that?
Her name was Edith Kelly.
What was the name of the group? The group.
Mountain Lake Quilters.
No, the one that you said it was before that.
No, we.
Oh, okay.
I joined Mountain Lake Quilters, and around 2014, Edie started the veterans. She said, "Let's start giving some of the veterans out quilts out." So we started out really small, just one or two, and it built up to where we would give out 6 a year. And this year, we've given out 30.
That's already? Wow.
This year.
That's outstanding.
That's a lot of quilts. And
yes, ma'am.
We've decided that 20 is our most that we'll give out. And that is our goal next year. We have a cutoff date in June. Is it June, Janet?
To have the quilts done?
Yes. The quilts have to be, they don't have to be quilted, but they'd have to be done. And whatever we have, that's what we'll give out.
Well, so do you travel around the state to any organizations like American Legion, VFW, or do you just do something locally for Nicholas County?
If the state coordinator for the state of West Virginia for Quilts of Valor Foundation wants us to give a quilt out in our area, Janet and I will go do it. We have done that. We don't do very many. We get our names from the veterans groups in Nicholas County. There's the Veterans Council, the VFW, American Legion, and also from Richwood, the American Legion, but I'm not sure, it might be VFW in Richwood. We get donations from different organizations, usually not a lot, but it's enough to help cover our costs.
Beautiful.
We also get names from individual. They'll approach us.
Yes, there are a lot of people that come to us and say, and we do accept their names also.
Okay, so like, let's say you have, I give you a veteran's name. Do you assign it to somebody in the group to make the whole quilt, or do all of y'all make different things and then stitch it together together after the fact?
We make blocks and we give them out at the meetings, and we usually do 20 at a time because it takes around 20 in a quilt, and they make them and then they bring them back, and then somebody puts it together.
I got you, because I was going to ask you. I ran with LJ. We ran a West Virginia Kayak Anglers Club for years, and we would have meet and greets, sort of like what you guys do once a month. Have a meet and greet. When you do your meet and greets, is it just like where y'all get together and talk and maybe exchange a few squares or patterns, or do y'all like have mobile machines that y'all like take out and like hand machines, and y'all get together and quilt them right there on the spot?
Janet, you can go ahead.
No, we have Mountain Lake Quilters have a meeting once a month, and Quilts of Valor, we always discuss what we're doing with Quilts of Valor, and sometimes someone in the group might donate a quilt top. Someone might, Linda will give out 20 blocks to make, and they'll give the blocks back, and then somebody in the group will put it together. And then we have a couple of long arm quilters that will quilt our quilts for our veterans. And then somebody else in the group might bind the quilt. And then we have a person in the group that also makes the labels to put on the back of the quilts.
So
Yes.
what are the labels? Is it something that states the group's name and the date it was made, or?
Don't have a picture right now. Let me see if I can. It has Mountain Lake Quilters, and it has the veteran's name,
The date.
and the date.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Outstanding. That's beautiful.
And
So-
she embroiders all of them, and I mean they're really nice.
Yeah.
Kim Roberts does that. She's also kind of our head person that quilts them. She quilts them, and then 2 other people quilt them. She does a lot of them.
Nice. So I got a picture here. I believe Janet was saying this was her ride. You guys, were y'all put together? Is this the 30 quilts that y'all gave away this year?
Yes, well, I think there was probably 28 quilts there.
Yeah, there's
gave
28.
one. Yeah, we gave one out earlier in the year, and no, 29. I guess there's there.
Yeah,
And
there's
then
28. Somebody else had one and brought it.
Okay, and then we do have another one to give out, but I haven't been able to get a hold of him yet. So, if we get a hold of him this year, it'll be 31 quilts. So
Nice. 31 quilts. I'm going to show this picture here that we have here. This one has a group of men with quilts over top of them.
yes,
And I'm assuming that's some of the guys that got
In the
quilts
first
from
group.
you.
yes, in the first group this year that received. We had to do it in 2 different groups because the Quilts of Valor Foundation only allows 20 in a group unless we get permission. So we just did it in 2 separate award ceremonies.
Now, the what are they holding in their hands? Is it like a certificate of?
Those are certificates thanking them for their service.
Beautiful, beautiful,
And
beautiful.
those are from the Quilt of Valor Foundation, right?
Yes. Yes. Those are
Okay.
Quilts of Valor Foundation certificates.
So the quilts in the background behind the men, did you guys make those as well?
Another lady donated those.
It was another quilt group, Linda, that donated those.
Okay.
Okay.
And they were actually they have a certain size that the Quilt of Valor Foundation wants us to follow. And
Right.
They were actually smaller, so we couldn't give them out. So we use them as our props.
Our background.
Yeah.
Well, they look. You guys have done an awesome job. I'm gonna pull up a few more here, pictures to share with the audience. Let's see. I'm looking at this one here.
Now we make some with panels in them, and this one is a pieced quilt.
Okay.
So there's you'll see different style of quilts.
The last one that you showed is considered, they call it a log cabin quilt, and that was the block for the year that Quilt of Valor Foundation chose. And
Okay.
They try to get as many blocks as they can, and we made them into quilts. A member made that quilt.
That one has a panel in the middle of it.
Yes.
Now, how do you do those panels? Do y'all have somebody like print that onto a a block for you to stitch in, or
No, quilt
Shops carry.
have them carry them, and we just pick them up.
that's pretty cool. I saw that one. I don't know if it's in here or not, but these are just outstanding.
Somebody said, "Well, why don't you just throw blocks together and give to them?" Well, we try to make them special and make them, something we would like. This quilt was like stray blocks that we had, and we just put it together. And the little pinwheels in between, those were cut-offs from some of the quilts, and we just sewed them together.
Well, I just want to thank you, ladies. This is some amazing work. So, if people wanted to join your organization or provide information or provide some cash for supplies, I know we talked in the background before we started recording this. You guys got a private group which is closed, and it's hard to find. Would it be okay if they reach out to you, Linda, or Janet on Facebook?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. Or any other recommendations on how they reach out to you too? Maybe to the Nicholas County Veterans Council or something like that.
If they want to submit a name, they can also submit it through the Quilts of Valor.
Quilts of Valor.
Right.
Okay.
Now,
That's online.
If it goes through Quilts of Valor Foundation, the state coordinator gets those names, and sometimes we get names, but most generally we don't. They make their own quilts. Like I said, we do a lot of our quilts. The names come to us through the VFW, Veterans Council, American Legion, or individually. We accept cash donations. We don't have a checking account. If we get a check, then we have to submit it through the foundation, and it's just a longer process. So we just leave it. If somebody wants to give us cash, we put it towards making these quilts. We buy border fabric, background fabric, and helps pay for quilting supplies. It's not real cheap to put together. That there is the Quilts of Valor Foundation Facebook page.
Yeah, they're pretty big. They got a donate button right there, folks.
Yeah.
Right there to the right. So
Now
when you don't, now folks that may look at this later and say, "Hey, I want to donate to this group." When you hit that donate button to Quilts of Valor, I'm sure it'll have some like a PayPal link or something. Go into the comments and make sure that you state that you want this to go to Mountain Lake Quilters group for a Nicholas County or whoever specific veteran that you want something made for, or just in general. That way it goes to these ladies and they can use those funds as they see fit.
Actually, Janet and I belong to a group. They're on Facebook. It's Quilts of Valor Stars, and that's who we belong to. And that gets that would probably be the donation. They would get the money.
Let's see if I can find that. Yeah, here we go. It's a group.
Yes,
it's this one right here, folks. I think that's it. That it right there. Private group.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Now there is another group that might not come up because it's private. It's called Quilt of Valor Working Stars, and those are the girls that participate in. A lot of people belong to this group, but the Working Stars is the one that, we make the quilts. They have we make blocks and send to them, or we show them on Facebook, and then we keep the quilts for our group. I don't know. we ourselves aren't members of the Quilter Valor Fund. Our group is not. We are the only two that belong to the Quilter Valor Foundation, and we belong to the Stars.
Well, I appreciate you guys for what you do, and I think it's, like I told you, Linda, I was eating breakfast at Shoney's when one of the ladies here was talking about what you guys are doing. Mm-hmm. Janet's being attacked by a fluffy.
Yes, I have 2 boxers, and apparently they want to be on the air too.
It happens. They want to be with famous Janet and Linda and John here. Hey, ladies, thank you for coming on here and recording this segment with me. It's definitely something that I know the 60-some kayak anglers that I've got here that are veterans will be like, oh, wow, that's so cool that you guys do this. So, again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for what you do for the veterans of our region, and it's appreciated. I want to wish you both a great day, a pleasant week, happy Thanksgiving, and of course a very, very Merry Christmas.
You also.
You too,
Thank
John.
you again. Thank you again for coming on. Be blessed. So that was the interview that I did with the ladies here locally. Thank you, Janet and Linda, for coming out and spending a half hour with me to record that part of this segment. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come right back and do the final salute with the Zoomy boys. All right, so the final video I want to show for tonight is our boys from the Air Force. I don't think I hit them. I did the Army, Navy, and Marines. So let's do a little salute to our Zoomies. Guys, thanks again for tuning in to this year's episode of the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast Veterans Day Salute. This is our 5th time doing this salute. And to all you veterans out there, I hope you had a very, very blessed day. It's John Rapp, Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. We're going to sign off. Just want to remind everybody, when you're out on the water this time of the year, always wear the appropriate clothing for the water temperatures that you're fishing. Cold weather gear. Be prepared to go in the water. We got our first snow here in my neck of the woods, 6 inches outside, that we got yesterday evening and overnight. So just always dress for the temperatures in the water, out the water, and give yourself a chance. Wear a PFD always. I don't know if you've seen the recent stuff being placed out of Indiana, where I think 3 men in a little John boat drowned out there or in kayaks. 2 boys, 14 and 15, flipped. Man went to try to save them, and on his way out to go out there, he ended up drowning. They've located the boys, but they have not found the man yet. So I don't know if I think that was here within the last few weeks. Let's also pray for our missing coal miner here in West Virginia. He's a hero. A hero. This man was the foreman of the crew that hit water about 3/4 of a mile down in a mine. They struck a seam of water. He was able to make sure his men got out, but unfortunately he did not, and rescue operations are ongoing at this time. I think it's day 3, so it's not looking good. So let's keep that family in our prayers. Anyway, be safe, be blessed. Got another show coming up soon. We're going to do a Black Friday show before Black Friday in 2 weeks. And I may throw up a show in between that talk about something that's dear to my heart. So stay safe, be blessed, and we will talk to you again soon.
Thank you for tuning in to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget, for future shows, like, follow, share, and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you check out our individual channels and accounts too. Want to be a guest on one of our shows and talk about adventures, gear, or products? Contact us. Thank you for watching the Chasing the Tide with Dustin Nichols, The Rusty Hook with John Rapp, The River Run with Adam Fraser Cross, The Real Backwaters with Daniel Whitcock, Chasing the 20s with Carlisle Esterly and Sean Lavery. Thanks for tuning into the Paddle and Fin Network. Subscribe and always wear your PFD.